You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. How we doing? How we doing? It's a beautiful day. My. What happened to the Chicago Sky? You know, the Chicago Sky are playing as hard as they can. Angel Reese, Tyler Marsh. They're putting in the work. Unfortunately, they're just not getting the performance they need to come out at the point guard position. Now, yesterday they went against Ruthie Bolton, MVP point guard candidate. Courtney Williams is one of the best in the league. Courtney Williams can tempo out a game, can control a game, and Courtney Williams now eyes is wide open as far as the WNBA and the physicality. When she played Indiana, it really was a head-on collision, and I think from this point on, Courtney Williams is going to take ownership of the actual Minnesota Lynx. Now, Courtney Williams is a special player, but Courtney Williams is also so strong, has the ability to knock out an ox. And I mean that literally, knock out an ox. Her and her father traveled together, and they really have been doing this for so long that the performance Williams put on really just was not able anything the Chicago Sky could do. And when you look at it, 31 minutes, 10 to 17, going to go out there, you go 2 for 5 from the three-point line, that's 40%. 3 of 3 at the free throw. You're going to grab 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and you're going to narrow that down, 2 turnovers, and you're going to come out of plus 12 by also dropping 25. So Courtney Williams, you know, you got to look at that. Angel Reese went to the podium and really blasted the officials, right? Blasted the officials. Really just said, you're not able to do what needs to be done. And of course, you're like horse manure, as she put it. But here's the deal with that. And I'll tell you, with the WNBA officials, I mean, you're just handcuffed. Because one, with the WNBA officials, where are you going to get officials from? Definitely not going to get them from the NBA Summer League, because the guys are trying to make it to the league. They're over there. It's hard to get them there. Everyone else is calling NCAA exposure events at this time of year, and you got high school events. I mean, you just got everybody's flooded. Basically, the WNBA is stuck with what they have. Now, honestly, they can go from NBA official, which makes approximately $250,000 to $300,000 a year, maybe a little more now. I mean, the compensation goes up, you get better officials. But Angel Reese was somewhat frustrated. And she started off yesterday because Angel Reese went in and just said, hey, you know what? We got 2 free throws this entire half. I mean, we're getting killed out here. What can you do? And it set off a fire, but this fire in the WNBA and the officials has been going on and on and on and on. But that was Reese. She said her piece. Basically, Kathy Engelbert will issue a fine, and we'll see where it goes from there. But the Minnesota Lynx took control, came out 24-10. Chicago is an amazing team. They just can't tempo out a game. They don't have anybody to pace the game out. And you're working on that. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say this, you got to look at it, and I'm saying they're using backups, right? Or they got people out of position. Really, Rachel Minham's not a point guard. Let's establish that. Neither is Ariel Atkins, right? But we're going to do what we have to do to see fit. But with Courtney Williams, right, it doesn't matter which team she plays on, whichever one she's on is going to win the game. And that's what Chicago's got to start looking at, or the Chicago Sky fans, I recommend you start looking at this. Because if you're outgunned from the start, it's not going to matter how good you coach, right? I mean, Tyler Marsh has given excellent coaching, but you don't have the players in the right positions to win. Now, when I look at this and I see Kia Nurse and I see Rebecca Allen, those are almost 2 identical players to me. So you're not gaining anything by substituting, anything like that. But, you know, Haley Van Lift, number 1 draft pick. And folks, I told you, I mean, Elijah James out of North Carolina State, Chicago should have pulled the trigger on that pick. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, she's just heating up. You're going to see DJ Carrington's going to be in play. I can tell you that right now, because James is too good and Becker's too good. And they're 2 rookies, so why not put them on the court together 30 minutes a game? They're going to build out their careers. So Chicago's going to have to look for something to put in place, because if you're not going to be getting, Ariel Atkins can never be Ariel Atkins. 33 minutes yesterday. I mean, she's playing hard. Ariel Atkins comes out of +6, right? So those are the numbers you want. But then you go to Bantam. Bantam gets 20 points, and everybody's excited 20, but you're -12, right? And you lose the game by 5. So you're getting killed, right? You're getting killed on that defensive end, and that's a tough thing. You go to Angel Reese. Angel Reese battled out 16 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists. Dominant game by Angel Reese, playing it, and you can see where that's kind of building up, right? Angel Reese is getting more comfortable, and she's playing better basketball, and she's holding it accountable to say each and time I take this court. So that's a positive there. Elizabeth Williams, 6 of 12. 12 points, going to come in at a -4. Again, Bynum drops 20, but you're -12. And Reese +2. And then Onyenware, 11 points, but you're -13. Folks, that's trailing too far behind the game. If you get the players -13, Onyenware, you get Rachel Bynum to step up on the defensive end. The Chicago Sky have an opportunity to win the ball game. Other than that, like I said, they paced out 24-10. Minnesota retracted that right away in the second quarter, 28-13. 18-15, Minnesota took them down in the third quarter, and then they battled in the fourth, pretty much even. Minnesota came out 24-23. Where does that leave the Sky? 5-12, obviously 3-8 away from the house. They're going to get some home games. Where does that leave Minnesota Lynx? You got to look at it. They're 17-2 and undefeated at home, right? 11-0. So the game is still the game. Tyler Marsh still is going to keep working. Angel Reese took the podium with nothing but positive to say, hey, we're working, we're doing it, we believe, we understand, we're doing the right things. And that's what a professional has to do. You got to trust the process. And if you trust Tyler Marsh, wins will come. Now, you're going to have to make a play. A trade is out there. There's a couple players out there. I mean, you got Leah Edwards in play, right? Lucy Olson, remember I told you about who? That's going to be a dominant one. Well, Lucy Olson's lighting it up now. I mean, she's one of those Swiss Army knives, too, that and you got Sidney Johnson over there with all the rookies. You take the rookies because he's running Princeton, and nobody can keep up with Princeton. L.A. Sparks are a handful now. You got Lynn Roberts starting to set the pace over there. So the Chicago Sky are sitting at 5-12, right? So, but this season can turn quickly. Obviously, Cordosa's overseas, and that won't come back. She'll be a little bit more flair, active hands, catch a lot of balls. She's doing great overseas. So we're just going to have to wait this out. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. Chicago Sky dropped another one, ever so close, but ever so far away. We got to keep watching this. Angel Reese blasts officials. Well, that's across the board in the WNBA. The profanity that's being used at those officials would definitely be unacceptable in the NBA. But nevertheless, they're going to have to keep on marching forward. And again, we're going to see how this all shakes out. You stay tuned. The Chicago Sky will keep you updated and posted. CBA agreement, I still don't have an understanding of how that works with Collier. Obviously, she's on the floor last night being an owner of a rival. I mean, I'd be a professional player, the NBA or a WNBA player going, wait a minute, right? Because it's too much conflict of interest. But Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese is a very intelligent young woman and needs to step forward. Angel Reese, I'll tell you, it's your brains that's going to carry you to the next level, and you are very intelligent, and you have an excellent speaking credential and should be utilized. So let's look and see if we can approach it. Obviously, you're not going to change the officials, but the characterization and the client image, you must maintain that. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We'll appreciate you tuning in. My, I'm holding on tight to my Chicago Sky. They're going to come through. You just be a little patient, and so will I.